The Bengals D gets shredded. The Colts, frauds, and the Dodgers are celebrating. And I'm not happy about it. It's time for your Sunday pig pile. Good evening, everybody. Another edition of Watch DA Live reaction every Sunday night right here on our YouTube channel, also on Twitter Live, also on Instagram Live. But if you're on the YouTube channel, make sure you are subscribed. Click on this button below me. That way you get notified when we go live. Tonight, Kostos, Nick Kostos, you better, you bet. Always a fantastic football guest, always got takes. We'll talk to him about this disaster that is the New York Giants culture. He's a big Giants fan, and he's got thoughts on things. Also, biggest fraud play of the day. We'll talk to him about which team didn't show up and are pretenders, not contenders, coming up here shortly. Make sure you get your comments in by clicking on those little keyboards next to you. Tick, 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 tick. And we'll get to your beam ups as well as your Fitz Magic coming up here in just a little bit. You just heard me break things down about Chiefs and Bills as part of Bill Maddock, your post-game reaction each and every Bills game. You know, this season I've been breaking things down because we're chronicling the final season at this stadium, Highmark Stadium, and that could be the last time the Chiefs ever make a trip to Buffalo, but it might just be a precursor to an AFC playoff game in Buffalo. Because as I mentioned, a loss by the Chiefs today and a win by the Broncos and the Chargers mean that the Chiefs are in third place in their division as we round the corner at the halfway mark of the season, which is significant from playoff standing standpoints. Make sure you get those comments in. I love seeing those little emojis next to you, those little badges next to you and all those comments. I'm seeing this in the chat, which I absolutely love. All the members that are out there are getting those flaming Cheeto DA emojis up there, which I love. That little badge, which is my cartoon face, but blazing orange, which is a loyalty badge of, I believe it's 3 months as a member, if I'm not mistaken. So I love seeing that flaming DA Cheeto in there. All right, let's kick things off with your Furious Five. With the Cincinnati Bengals, because what an absolute nightmare this has now become. And you have to love the title right there, done by our very own Markhead Marvel, Aiden Hatton. Since you been gone, which is exactly what we're talking about with the Bengals defense. The Bengals are down 2 touchdowns late. So it's going to take an offensive miracle to even pull this game out anyway. And they get it. They freaking get it. They get the touchdown. They get the onside kick. And another touchdown. Hang on. See, when you hit the high note, that's what happens, and we're live, so I can't edit this out. All right. You have Joe Flacco in there, and he gets you back-to-back touchdowns and the crazy onside kick. And then the Bengals defense allows a complete and utter meltdown, balloon pop disaster as the Bears hit a big play downfield, broken tackles everywhere, touchdown Chicago, and that's how the Bengals lose. And after the game, you have Jamar Chase muttering to himself, one stop. We just needed one stop as he walked off the field and through the tunnel. You know what? It's better that Joe Burrow's injured right now. It's better. Because imagine Joe Burrow was putting together efforts like this and his defense was getting shredded and giving up big play after big play like this. Look at the last 2 weeks of the Bengals finding a way to allow 39 points to Justin Fields and the Jets, and then 40-plus points to Caleb Williams and the Bears. If Burrow is in there dealing with this disrespectful, pathetic defense, and that he was being asked to put up 500 yards of offense and 40-plus points every single day just to win football games, it's just beneath him. And it would be even more aggravating because you would know that the Bengals had the offense to contend for a Super Bowl and that their defense was not just bad, it was pitiful. But that's what we're looking at right now. And I don't feel good that Joe Flacco's got to deal with it, but I feel just a little bit better that at least I don't have to worry every week that Joe Burrow's being let down by that squad, by that side of the football, by that unit. I don't know what it's going to take to fix that, but it is putrid. And the way the Bengals pulled defeat from the jaws of victory should just be a smoldering reminder of how much more they need to do to support Joe Burrow. And in this case, support Joe Flacco. Next up in the Furious Five. You know, I think we've all been hesitant to embrace the Colts. And I hope you have been with me in doing so. Because we know how this movie ends. 7-1 was nice. 7-1 was cute. Talks about the 1 seed. Oh, charming. Daniel Jones comeback player of the year and Jonathan Taylor your MVP. That was the whole chatter last week. And I had to be the guy that ran to the parade. I had to be the guy that told you when the storm was rolling in. I had to be Debbie Downer, giving you all the things that were not going to go right, even when you wanted to believe. And the Colts are a cute story, but that's all that they are. They're a cute story. Because we saw the carriage turn into the pumpkin, and Daniel Jones turn the football over, and the Indianapolis Colts give the ball to the Steelers time after time after time after time. And the way this ends is the Colts lose in the playoffs, and they lose in their first playoff game. And we all know it. Now, they can win this division. They can easily win the division. They can easily win the AFC South. And they can have a home playoff game. And you know what? If everything broke their way and they ended up going 15-2 or 14-3, hell, maybe there's even a 1 seed in there for you. I highly doubt it. But this team, this team at very best ends of the divisional round and more than likely is one and done of the playoffs because you can't trust that quarterback. And did you see Shane Steichen today somehow go away from the run? You have Jonathan Taylor, man. That Steelers defense has been picked apart by everybody. You've got Jonathan Taylor and you decide not to run the football. You want to put it in the hands of Daniel Jones? Okay, your funeral. I didn't need to see this effort against the Steelers to doubt him. Anybody listening to my radio show knew last week I was doubting him anyway. And if I had a show doing Watch DA Live last Sunday, I would have said the same thing Sunday night. I don't believe this team. But this was just more evidence for me, more ammunition for me. It's a nice story. But they are the AFC's Minnesota Vikings of last year. Vikings had a great regular season, comeback player of the year type campaign for their quarterback. Very plucky, very fun, cool turnaround season. We got to January and guess what? Pumpkin time. Same thing with the Colts. Pumpkin time. It just happened on Sunday against the Steelers. All right, next up on the Furious Five. The Chiefs end up losing in Buffalo, and this is significant in the AFC playoff standings because the 2 teams ahead of them in the division just won games. And there's a lot of football to be played. We've got half the season to go, and count out the Chiefs at your own peril. I'm certainly not doing that. But If you are going to make this incredibly hard on the Chiefs, you're going to force them to go on the road as much as possible in the playoffs, and you're going to force them to play as many games as possible in the playoffs. If you are a Chiefs hater, if you are Chiefs exhausted, if you are hoping for anybody but the Chiefs of the AFC this year, you better root like hell that the Broncos and Chargers keep winning. You don't have to like the Broncos. You don't have to believe in the Chargers. You just got to root for those teams ahead of them. Because the Chiefs, through this run of going to 5 Super Bowls in Mahomes' 7 years starting, have won 3 playoff games to do it, but they've never gone on the road all 3 weeks. They've never gone on the road. They've never been a wild card. They played wild card weekend as division winner. They have not been a wild card. If you are hoping to eliminate the Chiefs before we get to Santa Clara, you need them on the road 3 times. You need them playing on the road 3 times. And you hope that with those 3 shots, somebody gets a chance to knock them off, and they're exhausted by the time they get to the AFC Championship game if they get that far. So how does that happen? Somebody else has got to win that division. Broncos right now are 7-2. Chargers are 6-3. Chiefs are 5-4. So 2 games behind the Broncos, 1 game behind the Chargers. Here's how the Chiefs' schedule looks. They go to Denver after a bye week next week, okay? They get a bye after the Chiefs game. They're 5-4. They go to Denver. It's a massive game for what we're talking about here. Broncos really need to win that football game at home. Then they're home to the Colts. I think they beat the Colts. I think they beat the Colts handily. They go to Dallas. Should be able to beat the Cowboys. They're home against the Texans. Texans look friskier. They probably win that game. They're home against the Chargers. Then at Tennessee, home to the Broncos, wrap up in Vegas. Those 3 games against the Broncos and Chargers are the 3 games that you've got to put the nail in this coffin. And when I say that, it doesn't mean you're going to knock them out of the playoffs. It just means you're going to knock them out of winning the division. The Broncos have two shots here. And if they win them both, if they sweep the Chiefs, they're going to win this division and force the Chiefs to go on the road 3 weeks. If they split and the Chargers win that one, that might be enough. If the Chiefs win 2 of 3 of those, or all 3, the Chiefs could win this division. And then, holy hell, look out. It's Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and every other bad guy from a slasher film that comes back to life. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. We've seen it. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants the Chiefs back there in the Super Bowl. So if you got Chiefs fatigue, you better start rooting for that Broncos team or that Chargers team, because at the very least, you push them to the fringe of the playoffs. You say, okay, you want to do it? You got to go on the road 3 times. There you go. That's the bit. Next up, when it comes to the Furious 5, let's talk about the World Series. I did a deep dive on this YouTube channel about the storyline that really, really bothers me, which is we will all focus on this epic Game 7 and lose sight of Game 6. And Game 6 is where the series was lost. Game 6 is where the series was lost. And I know they had a 3-0 lead in Game 7. And I know they had a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 9th and the top of the 9th in Game 7. And I realize there's all these moments that you look at and you relive and say, if only this happened, if only that happened, the Blue Jays would have won Game 7. But I was demoralized after Game 7. I was angry after Game 6. And yeah, I was pulling hard for the Blue Jays. I was pulling hard. I'm sick of the Dodgers. I don't like the way that they're built. I don't like how they've spent everybody under the barn. I just don't like a lot about them. I just don't like a lot about the Dodgers. And Dodgers fans are now, so fugazi. It's wake me up in the World Series. Classic LA, but now times a million. Game 6 made me mad. So there's a whole 11-minute deep dive on that on this YouTube channel. So I'll spare you the full length rant on that and just let you watch that. But Game 6 bothers me because Game 6 You're down 3-1. It's bottom 9. You have the leadoff walk to Kirk and then the ground rule double by Barger, which is bad luck. It gets stuck under the padding, what have you. Second and third, no out. The 2 at-bats there by 2 guys who have had amazing at-bats. But right there needed so much more. The team, the city needed so much more from those 2 guys. Blindingly annoying to go up there hacking on first pitches or second pitches. And the fact that they had second and third, no out, and saw 3 pitches the rest of the inning, I'll never shake it. I'll never shake it. I'll never, ever, ever shake it. Second and third, no outs. The crowd is rocking. They got to bring in Glass now. You have the Dodgers against the wall. You have the Dodgers in a pressure situation. You've got Glass now in a major pressure situation, and we let him off the hook. You see 3 pitches. I just can't live with that. I cannot live with that decision. And then Barger getting caught on second base is just totally unacceptable. But my point here is that, God, the Dodgers are annoying because you have Glasnow and Blake Snell after the game saying, well, if you can't beat them, join them, which is just the worst concept in sports. It's just so disgusting. And this is why I really hate the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers' success. Because the Dodgers won a World Series and then said, and we can break the bank for an ace now in Blake Snell. The Dodgers were the recipients of the golden ticket in Shohei Ohtani, despite only paying him $2 million a year. Every other team would have had to pay him full freight, whether he went to Toronto, stayed in Anaheim, went to the Yankees, went to the Mets, went to the Cubs, wherever he was going to go, they were going to pay full freight. They were going to pay $65 to $70 million a year, right? He signed to the Dodgers for $2 million a year, allowing them the fugazi flexibility to then be able to sign more players, tons of players. Imagine how different it is when you have a $2 million Shohei Ohtani versus a $70 million Shohei Ohtani. So that's creative accounting. And on top of it, in an offseason where they signed Shohei, which should be the fish, because they get him for $2 million, they can then sign Yamamoto to a $300 million deal. Must be nice. And Yamamoto ends up being your World Series MVP. So if Shohei would just take the full money like he would have anywhere else, they can't probably afford to sign Yamamoto. And they certainly can't sign Yamamoto and Blake Snell. And who comes back to kill you in Game 6 and Game 7? Those 2 guys. And Snell and Glass now have the gall to say, if you can't beat them, join them. Nice. Great competitive spirit there, guys. I can't stand them. I can't stand you. Can't stand you. That World Series is just so obnoxious and so annoying. Again, like I said, full deep dive available as we speak right now on the YouTube page about Game 6 and all of my thoughts about Game 6 in full. Finally, RIP. I'm just going to take this moment to say rest in peace to a football legend. And there may be many of you that are too young to remember him, but Bob Trumpy was a dude. Bob Trumpy was a pretty damn good tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals back in the 60s and 70s. But he really made his mark on football by being a tremendous color analyst for NBC Sports throughout the 80s and 90s. And Trumpy had an amazing voice. For a former player, boy, did that guy sound like a broadcaster, and had his own radio show in Cincinnati as well. But he sounded like a broadcaster. He had authority with which he spoke. And so few times now in today's TV landscape is the voice ever valued. You know, Tom Brady, tinny, nasally voice. Tony Romo, yappy voice. Collinsworth, good pipes. But he's one of the anomalies. He's one of the rare guys, a former athlete that's really got a good voice. None of these guys work on their voice. Trumpy had a great voice. But Trumpy also, before it was in vogue to rip officials, Trumpy, as a network broadcaster, ripped officials. And I'll never forget, it's a core memory of mine, 1988 AFC wildcard game. Old Cleveland Municipal Stadium, Oilers, Browns. And there is a lateral. There is a behind the line of scrimmage pass. And it is called an incomplete pass. It would have been recovered by the Browns. It's a huge momentum swing in this game. Granted, I was a big Browns fan at the time. Love those teams of the 80s with Bernie Kosar and Webster Slaughter and Hanford Dixon, and they're biting on dog bones of the dog pound. I just love those old Browns teams. But it's a fumble, and there was no instant replay at the time. It's a fumble. And they called it incomplete pass, and Trumpy was apoplectic. Trumpy melted down, and I was like, you never hear a network broadcaster. You never hear a guy on TV trash the officials. You might hear a sports talk guy trash the officials. You might read a column in the newspaper, but you never hear a network broadcaster trash the officials, and he did it. I was like, I love this man. I love this guy. This guy's my guy. Going crazy in the booth over officiating. Loved it. Bob Trumpy, man, he called so many big games with Enberg, so many big games with Don Criqui. He was just a voice. And Bob Trumpy is on the call for perhaps Joe Montana's finest moment, which was Super Bowl 23 in Miami, when the Niners come back to beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl on the 2-minute drill by Joe Montana. And Trumpy's on that call, and he's great. He is great. So rest in peace to a football legend. He was one of the best, and he will be missed. All right, that's your Furious Five. Hit us up with the comments. And if you're looking at the comments right now, what you're seeing is we got a lot of beautiful members in the comment section. The members have that DA emoji next to them, and they're throwing up the custom emojis as well, which you love to see. So they're getting the special treatment over there, which is just so cool. So keep hitting us with all those comments, and I'll read through some of the best ones here. And hey, Matt ends up becoming a YouTube member. Welcome in, Matt. By being a member, you not only get access to all of our very special custom emojis, which is a lot of inside jokes and a lot of ridiculousness around here, but also you get that loyalty badge for as long as you've been a member continuously. You get a different color badge up there. You also get exclusive content, exclusive videos for members only, and a monthly live chat, which I have not announced the date yet, but it's coming up here. Live chat for members only, where you can ask me anything, and all of the previous chats are archived as well for members only. So for the cost of less than a burrito bowl, you get access to all that each and every month right here on our Watch DA Live YouTube channel. And I'm seeing a lot of Rosie the Cats in the chats, a lot of Wonka DAs in the chats, a lot of Cinnamon Berry in the chats as well. Great job using all those emojis. I love seeing it. And Tuesday is going to be the Halloween Spooktacular show coming up here on DA and Babs on Mad Dog Sports Radio. So I have yet to unveil my costume. You will see the costume on social media, but we don't have a live stream on the Mad Dog Sports Radio channel. So you'll get exclusive video, if you're a member, of me putting on the costume on Tuesday and wearing the costume. Full footage of that will be available as a member here on the YouTube channel. And I think all of you guys will enjoy the creativity and the tip to nostalgia when it comes to DA's Halloween costume. Let me just tell you, there was no Watch DA Live last week and no Bill Maddock because I was living my own hell. And the fact that you're looking at me speak extemporaneously into a microphone means that I survived but it was not easy. AJ went to daycare 2-3 weeks ago now and brought home a nasty virus. One of those viruses that get all up in you and gives me a raging headache and gives me the chills and gives me the sweats and makes me weak and dizzy. But then the rashes on your fingers, the rashes on your feet, the rashes in your mouth. Oh, I can tell you, last Friday night and last Saturday night going into Sunday, and then all day Sunday, were 2 or 3 of the worst illness days I've ever suffered through. And the doctors warned us, hey, kids get it bad, but adults get it worse. And if you've never had it, it's going to be bad. My wife had it when she was a kid. I never got it, and I got it, and it was 2 to 3 times worse than AJ had it. It was filthy. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It was so miserable and painful. And last Sunday, I crawled into bed after the Sunday morning show. I don't know how I did NFL radio, but I did it. I was lying on the floor in between breaks because we did it at home. After that show, I went upstairs. I crawled into bed, and I did not come out of bed except to go to the bathroom until Monday afternoon. And that day, fever spiked at like 104. My wife clocked it at 105. I think the gauge was high, but it was so bad. I was seeing double. I was weak. And when she came in to ask me a question, it took me, no lie, 10 full seconds to process what she had asked and to muster the strength to answer. It was really dire, really bad. So I just texted Aiden and I was like, dude, there is no show. I can't do this. It's just not going to happen. I was dead. And then I took off Monday morning. I was able to bounce back and be able to have enough strength to do the show on Tuesday from home. And I did the show the rest of the week. I really wasn't right until today. Really wasn't right. It was more than a week. It really was. And I started feeling it on Thursday of 2 weeks ago. It was almost like a 9-day, 10-day illness. It was debilitating. So I feel so good that I'm here talking to you today. The fact that I was able to do the Sunday morning show on NFL radio, Bill Maddock, and now this show and feel fine is a miracle to me. I never take my health for granted, but man, when you are laid up, it gives you make deals. You make deals with the powers above. I won't do this. I won't do that. I'll be better here. I'll be better there. I promise I'll never take my health for granted. I promise I'll take my vitamins. I promise I won't do this. I won't stay up late. I won't get stressed out. I promise I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll keep myself healthy. I'll go exercise, whatever it takes. You start making deals. Last Saturday night, I was a whimpering, miserable, blubbering mess because I couldn't go to sleep. Everything itched. Everything hurt. And I was just like, there's no end in sight. There's no end in sight. And so that's what I dealt with last week. And that's why there was no shows. Now, we're back. We're back. Okay. Let's do a little Fitz Magic, shall we? We missed Fitz Magic the last 2 weeks. And so let's do this. One of the core tenets of Fitzmagic is find out what Matt Collins wore today. Last week for Halloween, he was a chess piece. And of course, barefoot. This week, he walks into the stadium as a Minuteman. And because it's Matt Collins, I don't know if that's a Halloween costume a couple days late, if that was a second Halloween costume, or he's just honoring the history of the New England Patriots and the revolutionary spirit in New England. But there you go. Matt Collins sometimes, or all the time, acts like he's wearing a Halloween costume, even when it's not Halloween. There you go. You know, the Eagles last week wore their Kelly Greens. And how about multiple members of the Eagles wearing the Kelly Green jumpsuits straight out of the 80s and 90s? My God, is that beautiful? I mean, the only thing that could be better is a Kelly Green Eagle starter jacket. But God, that looks so good, huh? And how the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Bucks, the Broncos, all these beautiful, sweet throwback jerseys aren't their primaries. I have no idea. But goodness me, is that a gorgeous one? Is that a gorgeous one? Okay, I think that's Fitzmagic, right? Do we have another Fitzmagic subject or no? That's it. I think that's it.
That's it, unless you want to talk about this crazy jacket. That's about it.
Yeah, Aiden ends up going to the Patriots-Falcons game today. I don't know if he hung out with Matt Collins, but he wore his Dunkin' Donuts outfit. Is that the full jumpsuit that was your Halloween costume last year?
It was. It's the same thing that you saw last year. And to be perfectly honest, it's too good to just stash back in the closet and never see again, especially here in Boston. And since the Patriots are now 7-2, it was a good way to pop it out for the day today. And no, I do not have the pants on, but those are in the closet. I had to be, a little bit of a business professional look at the game today. So it's a half Fitzmagic, if you will.
Interesting, because I actually thought that was a full zip up, one big jumpsuit, but it's actually two pieces, huh?
Well, I mean, it's to my right here, and you'll be able to see it in a second. And you know what? I'm just gonna pull it out of my closet here. We'll do a little fashion show. I'll rip off because I do have some new pieces that you did not see last year. So stay tuned.
Ooh, okay. As well as ads. Don't tell me you like those ridiculous Packers helmets today. Oh, the leather made to look like leather helmets is so stupid. I love throwbacks, but the dumbest theme in throwbacks is throwing back to a time where uniforms were different. When you go back to leather helmets, you're not wearing a hard helmet anymore, so you can't replicate that. When you go back to the 1930s, your pants don't look like the pants anymore. They were sand knit pants. They look like onion sacks and burlap. You can't replicate that on new uniforms. It makes complete sense in 2025 to throw back your uniforms to 1985 because by and large, the uniform's the same. It's a twill jersey or a fishnet jersey or whatever the jersey is, a mesh jersey. You have sleeves, even though today you have less sleeve, and you have white tight pants with thigh pads and socks that go up to your knee. Those are all consistent. When you go back to the 1920s and 30s, the literal items that you're wearing are not the same. You have jerseys that go down to your wrists. You have elbow pads sewn into the jersey. You have leather helmets and sand knit pants and hip pads that come out that are only down to your knee and socks that don't even go all the way up in many cases. It's stupid to try to replicate that. All right, so what are the other pieces?
I thought the print on the Packers uniforms today was kind of fun. You use your resources and you have the letter print. I know that's not an actual leather helmet.
You like the leather print. Wow.
I liked the leather print. I got to say, I'll stand up for those that liked it and say that it was a cool little piece.
Wow.
So you know what? The old Acme Packers. I almost bought one of those Acme Packers hats back in the day when Rodgers had the number 12 and it was a circle.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a blue and yellow instead of a green and yellow.
Yeah.
I'll stand up for my Packer fan friends out there, although they want to see Matt LaFleur fired. So I'll say that in the same way.
Well, the disaster that was the loss of the Panthers will do that.
Well, yeah, we were going to get to it during beam ups, but of course, our friend Delta 9 Brian thought his Panthers had no shot today. But shout out to Delta 9 Brian, who had a big win today.
If I'm not mistaken, that was a 13.5-point line, maybe 14. I think the Packers were favored by 2 touchdowns and lost outright. Gross.
We can save that for another time. Yes, this actually came in a full shoebox. Let's just say I have some New England connections that was able to get me this straight from the source.
Nice.
And you open it up, and I'll start with the pants, which come as a flaming crotch, which is fun. You get to see where my private parts would be, and there's a nice little flame there.
Oh,
So
wow. Frames it very well.
That's why, we're a family show. That's why I didn't want to do that tonight to the audience. And you get the nice donut stripe on the side, some logos here on the side. There's also maybe this is on, no, it's right here. Duncan Radio. I feel like we can call ourselves an affiliate show of the Duncan Radio Network. And I walked into the office during Halloween office, as everybody had this week, and my one of my bosses comes up and says to me, "Hey, I have something for you." And I guess he just has this lying around, but the new big three, not LeBron, Wade, and Bosch, is this hat, which is now perfect for the fit. These glasses, which somehow have the Duncan logo on them on the side here as well. So I'll throw these on. And then if you ever need, if DA show koozies are sold out, I got a Duncan Ice for you.
Oh, very nice. Well. Very nice. So, very nice.
There's your Fitz magic for the week.
You look good, my friend. You look good.
I'll just keep this the rest of the show. It's not distracting at all.
Next week is a very special show, a very special episode of Watch DA Live. So make sure you are here. I won't tease why just yet and blow the surprise, but next week's a very special show. Part of the reason is, remember I mentioned earlier in the year where we had a Santo Tequila tie-in for the listeners to win something? Santo has given me the major prize to give away. So we're going to start taking winners and give it away as the regular season wraps up after week 18, going into the playoffs. And it's going to be awesome. So we'll unveil what the prize is there. Time now for our guest. As I mentioned before, as I teased earlier, my friend Nick Kostos joins us from You Better You Bet. Huge football fan, big Giants fan. This guy is hot. Actually taped this at halftime of Chiefs and Bills. So let's roll the tape right now. We're excited about our next guest here. He loves football like I do. He's all over NFL Sundays. He's got very hard opinions on a lot of things, which I absolutely love about him. Joining us here on the show is my friend Nick Kostos from You Better You Bet on the BetMGM network. Nick, how we doing?
What's going on, brother? NFL Sunday in full swing. Can we say that we're taping this or no? Like
sure,
we are?
absolutely.
So yeah. We're at halftime of Chiefs Bills. I bet Kansas City, and Kansas City has been my Super Bowl team all season. And I am and we'll see how the game turns out. I am very much on tilt with Andy Reid's decision to kick a 19-yard field goal at the end of the first half. Like, I get it. You're getting the ball coming out of halftime. You employ Patrick Mahomes. You're playing Josh Allen. Go for the touchdown, Andy. Absolutely hated that from Andy Reid. Chicken, you know what call.
Well, the New York Giants have given you plenty of odds.
What a segue from the Chiefs to the Giants.
Over the years. Yeah, exactly. A team that knows how to win versus a team that does not know how to win. On Sunday, another butt kicking now at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. You've got strong opinions on this. What do the Giants need to do to change the trajectory of this franchise?
Fire everybody. They should have done it last year. They didn't. And this is not a commentary on Jackson Dart, DA, and like I'm guessing you agree with me. Jackson Dart's been pretty good. Like, I think he's shown enough. If he's not going to be the locked-in week one starter next year for the Giants at quarterback, he's at least going to be in the conversation. And I'm trying to be like a little cautious with that. He's probably going to be the locked-in week one starter at quarterback. But this is why you don't have a lame duck coach and a lame duck general manager, because they trade future assets to take a quarterback. Even if the quarterback's good, like, I see no way Dable and Shane retain their jobs. Like, I want them to get fired. Like, they're going to get fired. They're 2-7. The schedule's impossible. The team has no talent. They're bad. Like, they're going to win like 4 games. And I think both of them are going to get fired. And what you're going to get then next year is a second-year quarterback who's got some promise with a new coach and a general manager that didn't draft him. And we've seen this play out in Chicago, obviously with multiple quarterbacks. We've seen this play out in Tennessee with a couple different regimes now. And the Giants, with the way that they've made decisions, have kind of put themselves, like we talk about elevating into rarefied air, they have descended into organizational hell with what they have done here, letting Dable and Shane pick a quarterback even if the quarterback's good. So the only way out right now, and I don't even know if it's a way out because John Mara has screwed up a lot of these hirings here, is to fire everybody and start over again. They should have done it at the end of last year. I am hoping they will do it at the end of this year.
So you give them no pass in losing Malik Neighbors and losing Cam Scadaboo this year.
DA, can we just can I curse on this or no?
Of course.
Can we just have come on. Can we just all be really fucking honest about this, man? Come on. You're a huge NFL fan. Your audience is an educated audience, right? It's year fucking 4, okay? This is not year 2. This is not even year 3. They were the worst team. I don't care that they didn't pick first overall. They were the worst team in the league last year. This is not even year 3. It's year 4. They're 2-7. They're going nowhere. In what arena in life, sports or otherwise, do you get to be fucking brutal at your job every single year and just keep your job? How does that happen? It doesn't happen in the NHL. It doesn't happen in the NBA. It doesn't happen in Major League Baseball. It doesn't happen in the NFL. The Giants are just the exception to the rule. Yeah, you just go 4-13 every year. No problem. We pick in the top 5 every year. All good. We're going to bring you back. What is that? Of course they should be fired. Of course, at some point, don't wins and losses matter? Don't you have to win some fucking games, man? Come on.
Well, also they just keep creating new ways to lose. And
because they suck, because they're losers, right? Doesn't mean they're bad people, but they're losers, right?
And that's the thing about Joe Shane is that there is some good draft picks in there. There is some positive in there, but the culture of losing, to your point, feels permanent.
The team's terrible. We don't have to try and find the outlier here. Okay, Malik Neighbors is a good player. I could have drafted Malik Neighbors. And to be fair, you could have drafted Peyton Manning first over. So I understand. Malik Neighbors is a good player. They have a couple decent players. The roster is bad. And you know how I know that? Because they lose every game every year. That's what happens. But because if the roster were good and the coaches were good, they would win. Dude, they're 2-7. This is going to be the 3rd straight year that they're one of the worst teams in the league. And we're doing this. Well, there are some good players. They're terrible. Right? No?
Well, I try to look at things a little balanced, and I have to give him credit on Jackson Dart. He looks like the real deal.
Okay.
Scadaboo is a 3rd-round pick. That's a legit
running
pick.
Back doesn't really matter, but yes, he is a good player. Yes, that is true.
Very good value.
Kyle Monangai had 200 yards today, 7th-round pick. Just saying. Troy Cross-Merritt, 7th-round pick. Just saying.
That is true. They have
Scadaboo is a good player. I'm not trying to hate.
They've got Neighbors, they've got Thibodeau, they've got Burns, they've got Abdul Carter, although Abdul Carter hasn't really flashed the way that they wanted to. But there does feel to be a nucleus of talented players on this team that Shane either drafted or signed. But it's not equating into winning.
Yes, and yet they lose every game. This is where I'm not interested anymore. It's not year 2. It's not year 3. It's year 4. They stink. They lose every week. I don't even understand what the conversation is at this point. I didn't understand it last year, but I guess you could kind of say all right, they don't have their quarterback yet. And now they have a chance to pick the quarterback, but they lose. The whole point is to win. and DA. Hold on. We're not to the punchline yet. And they lose every game. They lose. How do you? So if the point is to win and it's year 4 and you don't win, what is the argument to let them keep their jobs? I'm being serious. I'm not even trying to be an ass. What's the argument here? They get another crack at this 5 years?
Oh, I think Dable is toast. I think at this point, Dable's toast. I wouldn't be surprised if Mara, just for stability purposes, tries to bring back Shane, tries to make that argument, but
stability.
But I do think that Dable still
lose. Yes, because we would like to lose every game next year also. So let's keep the stability of losing and bring everybody back who has shepherded this run of losing, which is incredible.
Week 9 fraud alert. Who was the biggest fraud in Week 9?
Man, what a great question.
Was it the Packers losing to the Panthers? Was it the Lions losing to J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings? Or was it the Colts losing to the Steelers?
So how do we want to, can I be a pain in the ass?
Of course.
How do you want to?
I expect nothing less.
Thank you. How do you want to define fraud here? Because I don't want to say the Lions are frauds, and I'll tell you why in a second. So you could answer either Indianapolis or Green Bay. It depends on what your definition of fraud is.
A fraud as a contender that we saw on Sunday that, you know what, that team has a good record, but we can't trust them.
Okay, I would say probably the Colts and the Packers. Green Bay's loss is way worse because they're at home and they're facing an inferior team in the Carolina Panthers. And it's inexplicable for the Packers. And I think the thing with the Packers that's frustrating, and look, I think everyone kind of expected the Colts bubble to burst at some point where they're not going 15-2. Doesn't mean they can't win the AFC South, and doesn't mean they couldn't beat Buffalo in the playoffs if it came down to it, because I'm not into Buffalo's defense. But I don't think anyone expected them to go 15-2. And I did like Indy in the game today, to be fair. Pittsburgh played a pretty inspired effort, credit to the Steelers for that performance. I do think it knocks Indy down a rung a little bit as far as a Super Bowl contender goes. But for the Packers, the inconsistency is pretty stunning, right? Where they put this second half together last week against the Steelers, and I said it on You Better You Bet last week, and you say to yourself, this is the vision. Jordan Love explosives down the field. He looks awesome. Whether it's Jacobs or Emmanuel Wilson, they're able to move the ball on the ground. Tucker Kraft, who, by the way, looks like he tore his ACL, is absolutely dominating, and the pass rush is getting to Aaron Rodgers. And you say, okay, if this is what it can be, they could definitely go to the Super Bowl. They could beat anything. They could beat the Chiefs on their best day if that's what it is. But when you pair that with today, and you also go back to Week 3, it's a kind of similar, right? The loss on the road in Cleveland to the Browns, it makes no sense. And one loss is okay. You say, okay, no big deal. Stuff like this happens over the balance of the 17-game season. Today against Bryce Young and the Panthers, this is brutal. It's brutal for Green Bay. It's a terrible loss, and now Kraft's out, and they just become a team that is difficult to trust. They play the Eagles next week on Monday night. That will be a fascinating game as far as the NFC hierarchy goes. I don't think the Lions are frauds. And I'm curious if you agree with me on this. I think Kevin O'Connell benched J.J. McCarthy. I don't think that he was hurt for 6 weeks with an ankle sprain. I think this was a soft benching. And what a coinky dink, right? Carson Wentz's shoulder's broken, and now J.J. McCarthy can come back in and play. Now, when I said that on my show, I'd get tweets from people during the game today. Do you still think it was a soft benching? Yes. I never said McCarthy couldn't be good when he came back, but I do think it was a soft benching. So look, McCarthy was great today, and Kevin O'Connell's a good coach, and Brian Flores is a good coach. That kind of stuff will happen in the NFL. So I don't want to put the Lions on fraud alert. I think that's a great performance by the Vikings. The other two, I think these were fraudulent performances today.
The J.J. McCarthy suspension, benching, injury, whatever that is, not a suspension, but that was very curious. Very curious when you have him going through warm-ups last week and Carson Wentz's shoulder is already busted and you're still putting Carson Wentz out there and you're not starting J.J. McCarthy. Felt like there was a reason he wasn't playing that had nothing to do with health.
100%. I agree completely. And everything that Kevin O'Connell did and said shows you that that's true. And I was consistent on the show, because people be like, how could you say that? He has an ankle sprain. Jimmy Garoppolo in 2020, I believe, or 21, I think it's 20, had double high ankle sprains and missed 6 weeks after the second one. Okay, that's the one instance. In the history of the league, you follow the league the history of the league. Have you ever heard of a quarterback missing 6 weeks with an ankle sprain? Ever? High ankle or otherwise. It's actually it's unprecedented. It's never happened. And then you look and you go, okay, wow, what a coincidence. Now Wentz can't play anymore, and here's J.J. McCarthy. And you also had Kevin Seifert of ESPN, who covers the Vikings forever, reported earlier this week that the reason why Max Brosmer didn't play last Thursday against the Chargers when Wentz's arm was hanging like a wet noodle is because they were concerned that Brosmer was going to be so good that they couldn't go back to McCarthy. So that doesn't mean that JJ can't be good. I'm just saying, I think they benched him. He played great today, and I think it gives you more confidence in the Vikings moving forward.
For appearing on Watch DA Live, Nick Kostos is going to receive a bottle of Santo Tequila, the smoothest, cleanest tequila out there. It is a collaboration between Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar, two legends. Those guys know their tequila.
Take me to Flavor Town.
We will take you to Flavor Town. We will send you a bottle of Santo Tequila. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Love it. Wishing everybody minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck. Can I do my Guy Fieri impersonation?
Of course.
I'm Guy Fieri, and we're rolling out, looking for America's greatest diners, drive-ins, and dives.
And takes, the hottest of takes. Tremendous guests join us here on the show on Sunday nights. That's why you're subscribed. That's why you listen. That's why you watch on YouTube or on X or on Instagram Live each and every Sunday night. Your best reaction from around the world of football right here on Watch DA Live on this YouTube channel. It is time for some beam ups. Let's go through some comments here tonight, shall we? And I'm looking through some of these comments and wanted to get to a few of them. And so, Aiden, why don't you give me the ones that you like particularly? And I love that swagger right now that you got rocking. That is everything and more.
I'm going to try to read these carefully through these glasses. And let's start with some other personal appearance notes that we got in the chat tonight. Drunkle Sam asks, DA's hair was coming along nicely, but it seems to hit a wall. Do we need some more spiky product?
Yeah, it's my fault. Sundays, really coming out of this illness, I just have not put a lot of energy into my fashion, my hair, my physical appearance. I'm just at this point kind of like rolling through the day, trying to survive. Today, again, first day that I felt really good. But look what I'm wearing. I'm just wearing a hoodie, a zip up, no product in the hair. The hair actually looks pretty good right now. It's got good volume. It's got good bounce, but you're just not seeing it because I got the headset on and I didn't put any product in it. So that's on me. It's not the hair. That's on me. I'll be better next week for you.
Well, continuing along, I think transitioning from the health side of the portion of the show, people also want to know what's in that Syracuse cup.
Yeah, it's just water. If you believe this, I have not had an alcoholic beverage 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not even talking about like, I haven't had a beer. Now that does not sound very long for most people. It's like, yeah, that's not long at all. But for me, I enjoy a beer at dinner. I certainly enjoy a beer watching football games. These last two, I mean, I've been up to the middle of the night, Friday and Saturday, watching the World Series until the bitter end. Those have been perfect nights to have a cocktail, have some Santo Tequila, have some bourbon. I have had no thirst, no appetite for anything alcoholic in 2 weeks, maybe 3. So it's been a long drought in the desert. There's just water here in this Q's cup. Sad. It's a sad time. But I'm thinking next weekend, I got a buddy of mine. He's having a party. He actually was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago, a decade ago, and he did not get a good prognosis. This is a buddy of mine from college. He fought it. He battled it. He beat it. And so he's having a party 10 years that he's been healthy. So we're going to party with him, and that's going to be definitely the night that I imbibe. I can promise you that. So full steam ahead for Saturday night. And Tuesday morning is the spooktacular. Who knows? There might be a coffin corner in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll see.
Wow, on the air.
Yeah, it's serious. There's no rules. It's very nice. You can do whatever you want. You can curse. You can drink. It's great.
It's great. You may either on that show or hopefully this show need to add a new segment because Ralph, who's also a member of the Jedi Council, stumbled across, I think is a new segment name, Damon Downer. I feel like we need to continue this. And there's going to be music to it. There's going to be stuff that you can create with beds and, you know, it's a little negative, obviously, but it's Damon Downer, I think, is too perfect to pass up.
It really is. And I can tell you, I wrestle with this sometimes because when it comes to sports, I quickly sniff out frauds. And I'm like, we've seen it before. I know how this ends. But when you do a show such as mine, a national show, you kind of don't want to just urinate all over people's hopes because, they're coming to you for a little bit of juice. Their team wins. They're feeling good. They don't want to come to you and hear, oh, your team actually sucks. So sometimes I reserve that. Sometimes I bury it and go like, you know what? You don't have to be negative today, especially you do a morning show. People want to wake up. They want to laugh. They want to be, kind of lightly entertained. And so I'm like, am I going to pull out the knife here and gut this fish? But I couldn't hold it back when it came to the Colts. I'm just like, I know how this ends, and I'm not going to sit here and play around because there's so many NFL analysts that just want, it's easy today to say something nice about a team, and then you get all these likes on social media. You don't have to engage in hate banter and all that outrage. And so it's just easier sometimes to be nice. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I cannot pretend that the Colts are really good. I can't pretend they're 7-1. And everyone's like, oh, Jonathan Taylor, MVP, which is nice. But it was so clouded by the fact that they hadn't beaten anybody. And now, how does it look with 5 turnovers and everybody going, oh, right, Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Well, he was the quarterback the entire time. Come on.
And let's wrap up here, at least for me, with Kristen in Buffalo, the newest mother in the DA universe. We're doing good. A little D-Alien settled in for Sunday Night Football. I know it's Commanders, Seahawks going on underneath us as well. But we had a football food of the week lined up last week that Kristen actually sent. This may actually go back 2 weeks because I was out the previous week. But I'm going to pull that up here as you talk about the latest with Kristen and what's going on with Gal Fietti.
Yeah, Kristen in Buffalo has been a new mom now for a couple of weeks. I think it's been 3 weeks now. And so a little baby boy in Buffalo has been born and healthy and happy. And both mommy and baby boy are doing great. And that's great. And he's being quickly indoctrinated into football. Kristen might be live in Buffalo, but she's a Lions fan. And so let's hope that this is a new era for a young Lions fan, and he doesn't have to deal with all the heartbreak and collapses and losing and punchlines and quarterbacks running out of the back of the end zone, but instead gets to celebrate wins and division titles and playoffs and maybe Super Bowls. So it's great to hear that Kristen's doing great, and obviously all the love to Kristen and Brian and little baby boy in Buffalo.
Amen to that. And to honor Kristen, I think we should dust off the latest football food of the week from her that we haven't done.
Okay,
This was from Monday Night Football, Detroit and Tampa Bay. So this actually goes back a couple weeks that it was a Monday. So obviously we're on Sunday night, but she sent this in regardless. We don't care how late it is, Kristen, because you're on mom duty. This is the Detroit Tampa Bay game that was on Monday Night Football. Corned beef Reubens, courtesy of Detroit, paired with Tampa Bay's Cubans. So it's a mojo style pork and Swiss topped with cilantro.
Oh, man.
I just realized that it's probably mojo style. I don't know why I went with the accent there, but mojo style pork and Swiss topped with cilantro.
Oh, that looks great. And look at how evenly it's browned. I mean, Kristen is really an elite cook. That looks delicious. I would love to have one of those right now. She has such good mashups. And if you want to follow her for all of those recipes, at particular plates on Instagram, at particular plates with an underscore in between particular plates. And she's got all the recipes there. And she's phenomenal. She's absolutely phenomenal. And I think at some point this season, we'll have to do the best of Kristen Buffalo's football food of the week.
And then if you need some dessert, here's a munchkin for you.
Just too much swag. It's just pouring out of your pores here. Just too much swag. Let me get to a few of my comments, my favorite ones here. Drunkle Sam D is a double streamer, like the first thing in the morning when you miss the toilet. Double streamer. Yes, I did Bill Maddock earlier today as well. And Delta 9 Brian, so he double booked himself. I guess I did. You have Kristen Buffalo. Hey, Largent, doing good, as you just saw that. She's doing good and doing well. Delta 9 Brian, now I'm just regretting eating a spicy salad for dinner. I was interested in this because I don't know how a salad can be spicy. Usually it's the opposite. Salads are when I'm having too much spicy food, it kind of calms down my system. I'm wondering how the salad gets spicy. Next up is Matt, who says, and we're back aboard the Sunday night soiree. I like that. I might use that. Sunday night soiree. Let's see. We have Delta 9 Brian, hopefully DA will give my Panthers some love and some flowers, and also critique the Packers uniforms. I said the Packers uniforms stunk, but I will say this. Dave Canales has been a miracle worker. I mean, he took over a situation that was really an organization on fire. And Bryce Young was a bust, and nobody could work with David Tepper. And Dave Canales fixed Bryce Young. Rico Dowdle's been a revelation. They can move the football. They don't kill themselves. There was a bunch of field goals today, but you know what? I give Canales so much credit. And he was a one-time, one-year OC that I doubted, and he's been fantastic. The clock has struck midnight on Daniel Dimes. That's exactly right, as we just mentioned before. Moist Pork, I was traveling today and was hoping to listen to Browns Jets to pass the time, then realized they're off. The game is next week. So even when they're not playing, the Browns still disappoint me. And that just about says it all in being a Browns fan. Okay, before we get out of here, I do want to do your Little Mo laugh of the day. And the Little Mo laugh of the day, remember that Cardi B is dating Stephon Diggs. So Cardi B was in the house earlier today at Gillette Stadium when the Patriots beat the Falcons. So let's hear from Cardi B, who was down on the field today as the Patriots get the victory.
Hey, how you doing today?
We're doing really great. We're doing really good.
Okay. What's your name? Where you from?
My name is Cardi B. I'm from the Bronx.
BX is in the house. Stop playing with her. Let's go. We see the fit. Describe it for us right quick.
We'll take it down. Put a little Hermes. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit.
The boots.
Nice and modest. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you doing it?
Wag material. Wag material.
Okay. Where we at?
We at the Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
As you can see, we out here in Boston having a little tea party.
Yeah. How you enjoy the
nice
game?
TD party. How
you
about
enjoy
that?
the game?
Big TD party. How about that?
Okay. Well, how do you enjoy the game?
I
mean, TD.
Big TD.
Big TD.
Big TD.
You know what I'm saying? Something like.
Am I doing it good?
Look, it was cool. It was cool. Do you rather have a partner with style or funds?
Style.
Why?
I mean, you don't really need funds for style.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't pull up with somebody with no
yeah. Okay. We like that. What's your favorite song for your album that is dropped?
Pretty as fuck.
On my back. He pretty Facebook on my back. I kidded that one too.
Okay, that's a cool one.
Man.
What's a good Dominican dish?
Good Dominican dish, it's plenty. It's almost everything. Almost everything.
What you making? What you making?
Cut the cameras.
There you go. Cardi B on the field, breaking things down as only she can do, alongside Stephon Diggs wearing a remarkably ridiculous hat on the field. There's the first couple, the royal couple of the New England Patriots. Very nice.
There's so much there, and I feel like the audience needs your thoughts on so many of that. First of all, WAG material. Do you know what WAG stands for?
Wives and girlfriends.
Okay, that's good. Number one. Number two, the interviewer asks, would you rather have style in your man or funds in your man? Hopefully it's both for both of us. But I was kind of surprised that she went with style because she's made a good chunk of cash in her day. But she actually says you don't need funds to have style. So that's inspiration to any of the D-aliens out there who think they need funds to get style.
And she doesn't need funds because she's got them, like you said. She's a self-made woman. She's got plenty of funds. I don't know who, her or Stephon Diggs, makes more cash, but if she dropped Diggs today, she's fine. Financially, she is just fine. So I guess she goes with the style. And I guess that hat that he was wearing is style. Who knew?
He loves it. I think she loves New England too, which I love. The last thing I'll leave you with here is I hope everybody caught, hey, what's your favorite Dominican dish? And she kind of pauses for a second, and Steph Diggs just has the absolute gall, the absolute nerve to mutter, wow, she's pregnant as fuck because she can't answer a damn answer. And I just loved hearing that, how you get pregnancy brain. And Steph clearly hasn't dealt with it. Not that I've dealt with it, but have some respect for Cardi B, who's carrying your child.
That's
And
right.
I know she can't answer a damn question, but come on, that was a low blow.
Low blow. Poor woman's got pregnancy brain. I have seen it
Go
up
Pats.
close and personal. Come on, Steph Diggs. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight here on the show. Thanks to Nick Kostos for joining us. Also, thanks to Aiden Hatton, our Marquette Marvel, who we love, we adore, and we respect and appreciate. You did a great job tonight helping me out with both Bill Maddock and Watch DA Live. Tomorrow morning, I will see you on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82 on Sirius XM. So check me out, peep me out there. And as I said, on Tuesday morning, there is the Halloween Spooktacular. Tuesday morning as we celebrate 4 days late, half price Halloween, but it's National Candy Day, and so it works. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click on this button below me. That way you make sure you are notified when we go live and when we've got all types of goodies here on the YouTube channel. As I mentioned before, become a member because there's so many different gifts and prizes and quirks and things that are cool by being a member, including monthly chats where just members can ask me anything, which we'll do here coming up shortly this month now that we've turned the page into November. Thanks, everybody. Love you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday night. Enjoy Sunday night football, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Be good. Be good to one another. The mothership disconnects.